that's a good. So that's a good expression of the mental adjustment that he made from the very beginning when I put my hand up and him, and I would just try to get a little bit more kind of loose about your desire to kind of like be careful around him. It's because it's like what we're doing is we're just being careful with his anxious consideration, and that's not what he needs. Now, I'm not trying to desensitize him, but I am going to just the things I talk to, it's like just trying to be mindful that that's not the release point of me touching you here doesn't actually negotiate you throwing your head in the air.
Right.
And so just helping him with that. And again, I'm not trying to put his head down, I'm just taking it there. I'm just going to connect to the tension, and I want him to start thinking about letting it go as a more primary response. Perfect. So that's similar. Okay. And I'm just going to get more and more detailed around this as I come forward and down. That's not the primary response. So you see, as I do there, there. See, that's the primary response. There we go. And then he takes a nice breath. There we go. You see, just try to observe the difference in the first thought, in that he has to take more consideration for his first thought, and not just like tense and then try to figure it out. It's like I just want you to recognize, but you actually don't even need to do that. And I'm not trying to be harsh with him, but I need to. It's like sometimes we need somebody to just grab us on that thought and be like, hey, like that thing you're doing right there, that's the thing, and that's kind of it. Because what it does is it just feeds the next thought, and it feeds the next thought. So then, just the goal of as I change my inclination of the question, good, and then that should kind of flow through the motion, cause him to carry himself. That's it. Funny how this footing creates high heels on my boots. Does it do that to anybody else?
You're welcome.
Does it do that to anybody else?
It does.
Yeah, look, it does, it clicks.
Oh, look at these, for sure.
Yeah.
This is right into that left shoulder again.
Okay.
So right, that's it. There we go. Good. Good. Much better. Just right into the float of that left hip. So as I connect to it, the left hip steps softly underneath the center line. That was not happening yesterday. When I would add that question, he wasn't necessarily floating that hip to center. So then I'm just kind of keeping that neck straight, but then connecting to a spot where when I ask that question, now let's go behind. I'll take that.
Hazel.
Good. Very nice. Okay, so that's really, really good. So there, when I went into his shoulder, right away he tried to activate his hindquarters to pick his shoulders up, and that's where he took that little soft step like that. So the more, if I add pressure, the pressure needs to get that. Good. The pressure should not be producing tension. It should just produce an internal release And then if I can get it correct in all of it, it's like it should create an internal release. But it should be then inspired by his back legs. Good. See, he should try to find a way to get underneath himself. Good. Excellent. Okay. Good. So that's combining two pieces, which is your shoulder should soften, but your hind leg should carry what releases. So that left hind leg already is quite a bit softer than it was yesterday. Super pleased with that. Now we'll see what happens when I invert that balance. But initially I'm just wanting to.
Oops.
So this is now the right shoulder. And so then this is all of the little pieces of him just believing that he can throw that shoulder around. And I'm just staying here until I can feel good. There. Excellent. Good. So then he kind of goes through his process, which is initially I want to stiffen it. And then he gets fast with the tension, and then he gets chompy. Because he's like, I don't know how to get out of this, and you're adding more, and it's getting worse for me. And then I just kind of like stay, you're not in trouble, but I am staying connected, directly connected to the tension, so that we can get to that place. That's it. There we go. Good. And then you can see it always finishes. This is one of the best ways to kind of like be able to observe when those releases happen, because it will always create a lengthening of the top line. It'll always get into that spot. And then this is just that pressure piece again. He's like, oh, the pressure. And I'm going to amplify this a little bit on my own. And this, that's it. There we go. Good, good, good. And you see that starts to create that elasticity in his top line. And that's the key release that I'm after. Good. Good. So the really neat part about it is that the internal release, I don't know why this is the code in the universe, but the internal release always creates an external physical excellent response. Like, they soften and it looks beautiful, is kind of what I'm saying. You know, it's not like they just soften and it's flat. He softens and then he's immediately in a posture that's like, oh, that's good. Okay, so if you remember, my left seat bone just sitting, if I sit into it, that left hind should start coming underneath me. Okay, so then that's much better. Like, he's actually thinking about placing that hind leg and not holding so much tension. That's a big deal, because he was holding a ton of tension off that left hind.
Okay.
Good. And then if I lift this left shoulder, there's the balance of the half pass to the right, which I never had yesterday. And that's just gentle, but that's good. There we go. Good. There. That left shoulder coming over that right, or the left hind. Good. And that's starting that kind of more pirouette-like movement. But I'm just working on this outside line. My left shoulder's connected to that, my left hip and this leg. But that leg needs to, there. Good. Right shoulder. And then that's it. Good. So this is that, good. Then we start to map the whole space again. Good. And what I want him to understand is I'm actually talking to how he's feeling about this, not what he physically does. So I stay until, good. So I'm just looking for that internal release. And that's his pattern. He's like, hold, I need to move. Oh, you're not gonna let me go. And then he starts to chomp. And it's like, he's allowed to go through it. I'm not trying to not make him chomp. I'm trying to help him understand that I'm talking to how it made him feel. And that he could release that if he were to become mindful of the, that's it. Okay, there we go. And then that's him. He wants to take that. That's fine. Again, the balance is there. There's a softness in it. Right here, we talk just about that tension again. There. Good. So all that we're doing. Excellent. And that's how we come off the fence. Good. Perfect. That's nice because if you notice, you see, now he's able to stay more rhythmic as he trots with extending his top line. You remember yesterday how as soon as I would elongate his top line, he would get too fast.
Low.
Yeah. And see, that's for extension of the top line. And again, there's nothing in my hands, guys. Like, it's so important to realize here what's in my hands is the tension of that right shoulder. And then I stay there. Good. But see, like, what I'm taking in my hand is the feel of the break, is the tension. I'm not holding him. And I'm making that commitment to him. I will not hold you. But I will talk to how you feel. And the thing about this horse is that he's just so, he's so handsome and such a beautiful mover that as soon as he releases, and my goal would be to release him into the posture. So as he softens, I'm releasing him into the posture. And the more efficiently I can do that, the more empowered he will feel. Because he's not just softening sloppy, he's softening like, "Ruh!" So it makes him feel stronger. And so then I'm trying to combine as many pieces as I possibly can. So I need the refinement. See, this is all perfect now because he's softening around my leg very well. And then as I change something, I just want to feel good. If I change my shoulder, that shoulder there, yeah, see, that's just good releases. It's not balanced or straight, but that doesn't matter. So I come to this left shoulder. See, his first thought is to just come up into my hand. That's it. Good. Okay. Good. And so I really like how he's starting to lower his head, but he's not dropping his head. He's lengthening his back. So then he starts to figure out how to lower his head to elongate, not just to drop. Yeah. Because if he just drops, he's not actually softening. Well, softening what needs to soften. Okay. So then shoulders full. Now pressure. So we add just a little bit more pressure. There. Yes. Good. 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 And then again, very soft in my hand. I'm just barely guiding that pull joint. And then what I want him to do is just learn to move. So here again, I just take connection. And I'm not saying can't. There. Yes, buddy. This is a challenge because you have to stay so dialed on what it is that needs to be talked to. And it's easy to get distracted by the movement that he chooses canter or he chooses trots or that stuff doesn't matter. So right there, he becomes tight in that shoulder. And then I stay with until, boy, there we go. Beauty. Good. 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 of a sudden those back legs are carrying him forward. And then he's moving a little bit quicker, but he's not falling there. And that's where I want him to experiment with his body. Beauty. Right into the release of that left leg. Yes. Excellent stuff. Good boy. Inside leg. Good.
I'll get that one later.
Now I'm going to talk to this ahead of it. So this is just that shoulder. Good. There. Yes. So again, just talking to that tension. Good. Yeah. There. There. Yes. Good. I lost my rein. Not his fault. That allowed him to kind of. Yeah. Yeah. Let those rocks hit the fence. Yes. Okay. Now again. Good. Okay. That guy. That rock hit that fence and he softened into my hands. And I'm not necessarily an advocate of this, but it's more like, you know, like, embrace it, buddy. You're not weak. And we need to stop playing to his weakness like, you're okay, no. You're not, it's not okay. And I'm not leaving you there. And you're way too powerful to yield to that. Now, the best part about it, yesterday he was packing so much tension in that left hind. He would hardly give it to me on natural bend. And then I got it and I started to get it in the inverted bend. Like this piece here. Like that left hind is like almost shifting with my seat now, which is really good. Right shoulder, left hind. Good. You're good, you're good. And so then what I'm doing, there. Good, good, good. Yes, bud. Good. Bud, look at you. Not leaving him. We're gonna get through it. Stay. Kind of wobbly. There. Good. But again, just like feel the freedom of that kid. Good. And this is good. Like he wants to move now. This is positive. Up. Off his back a little bit. Just recognizing this was a little wobbly last time. There. Now I'll sit back onto that. See how those shoulders kind of liberate? It's pretty obvious. So now, initially, yesterday the tension was consistent, and him letting it go was a big deal. Good. There. Just like, it's so easy to sit on that. Like he's pulling me into his back in these moments right here. So it's so easy to ride. And then what is fun is he gets bigger and bigger. His movement gets bigger, but he's actually sucking me into his back. So it's easier to ride, but it looks like it's a lot, but it's not. Because his back is rising up to meet me. And what he often does is his back is dropping away from you when he tightens. Because he's thinking about leaving. Instead, as he becomes more empowered, his back starts to kind of like, so now right hind. So see this right hind not wanting to come Like as I sit my seat bone here on this right side. Okay, there. Now, does it soften to my hand? Good. Now, slightly keeping this and then raising my right shoulder. And then the counter. But not letting that right hip. Okay. There. Heck yeah. Ooh. Again, it's just too easy to sit on. Because you're just like, there's just nothing in the way. Down transition was pretty crappy in comparison to the coolness of that counter. But you see what I'm doing now is I'm placing the releases into the movements. So he starts to draw up the belief about his movement inside of release instead of in the preparation of tension. Excellent.
Go now.
He's like, I like it here.
Good. Yeah. Oh, it's glorious.
Give yourself a whole 2 months. Give yourself half a
He's
year.
such soft, maybe he can lay the ball in the fence.
You deserve that.
Trying very hard here. Yes. Good. Okay. Prep the space. Prep the release. There. Yes. Good. Now, if there's uncertainty, it needs to boil up, not sideways. This is a hard one for him, but I gotta stay connected to this tension. There. Yes. Okay. And then when his neck does that, like this is very high, he needs to release this into a passage. Good. Like up and forward. Now we'll let that down. Again, I'm posting this, but this is not necessary to post. I'm just getting off his back and let him feel that. Good. Okay, and then back. Yes, good. That was quicker. And then walk. Good. Oh, no fun. So, he's still in moments chomping, but he's getting way more free. Way more free. Good. So then he wanted to move, no problem. We can move, but we're not moving as a tension escape. So now, that was my fault. Can't feel that hand like that. There. There it is. Yes. Okay, that's hard to talk about. But that right hind got tight. And then I couldn't find it with my seat because he got tight when I wasn't there. So then trying to catch up to it is always a little bit of a challenge. But if I can get pro out there, so that right hip is way under. Now I raise my chest and bring that right hind slightly under. Okay, good. That's it. And that's, if you can keep that, that's the building of the pirouette. And also in this balance, that's the half pass. So light. Good. Okay, now we're going to set the ratio. Easy, good. Yeah. Good. Right shoulder, back to center. Good. Left. Yes. Good. Yeah. Rah! Good. And it's like you can't let it sleep. Yes. Good. Okay, here we're coming off the fence. And now like, yeah. Under it a little bit more. There. Good. Now down in my hand, forward in my seat. There. Yes. Top line release instead of speed. Come up over your back. Good. Good. Excellent. Okay, now if I sit back. Good. Okay, and down transition. Yes. Lots to talk about because I'm always late. When you talk about it, you're behind it. And I try not to be, but that's an art in itself. Again, no problem, bud. Yes, there we go. Yeah, this right here. Now left line, tight right there. Yes. Now forward in this. Let's get that aligned. Not tight, it's up there. Good. And that's there we go. See now, the alignment is in the center of my reins. So then I don't have to do anything. What am I supposed to do right now, Chris-Anne?
Smile.
Yeah.
Zip it.
And zip it. Right? Just zip it. Don't wreck it. Like, it's hard enough to get it. Don't wreck it. And then just like, bud, just move and enjoy your body. Like, feel how powerful you are. You're not weak. Yes. Roar. Like, you need him to believe in this, not in his weakness. There. Yes. I got that with his outside right hind. Back to the middle. Okay. Good. Yes. Heck yeah. Any questions, you two?
Nope.
What time is it?
It is 8:41.
Okay. Yeah, that's pretty much a sweet little lesson. So what I love this time is, okay, today, it didn't matter what angle I took, he would tighten his quarters, but he would let go of them very quickly. He's starting to realize that I'm actually talking to the tension in his body parts, not the relocation of his tension in what seems like a pretty way.
Yes.
You understand?
Yeah.
So then he starts to understand that I'm talking to how he feels all the time.
Okay.
I'm not leaving him in that feeling. Okay, well today, he started to let that go way faster. Okay, then, now that's why I went down there quicker. Because I had a release to utilize to talk to him in those moments. Now the last one, he wanted to leave, so he got soft all the way around that corner. He wanted to leave it, but actually got to where he would let go. And so then that's kind of that's a cherry right there, which is, he recognizes that I'm talking to the tension in his darkest moment. So the hardest spot he has is right there. Now, if you noticed, when I did that leg heel to that fence, that was just cream. Like, he never braced. Okay, and so then that's what, now he's starting to recognize, I'm talking to the tension, and I'm talking to how he feels. I'm not just putting him into what he assumes is his danger. And so then that's the obedience piece, is if you just like, you're just making me go where I'm nervous. Okay, that was pretty cool. I don't know if you noticed that little light beam.
Oh, yeah.
I put him right beside it, and he softened his head as it returned. Okay. Now, here. Yes. Good. Okay. And now this becomes the goal. He starts to think he needs to hold tension, and then I ask, and he softens, and he starts letting it go. He's like, I can trust Josh with this. I can trust Josh with my body. So then you don't have to hold him. You just have to talk to the tension that whatever it was produced. And now he's just like, he's just creamy right now. Like, he's just not holding anything. And then he gave it to me back over there. But I'm also going to cool him down here and not down there, because that will be taking it back into the work and not just enjoying the feeling of how he's letting go. Now, you can also see here that the amount of lateral release I'm getting right now could very much so take him to lateral. Okay, so I have lots of lateral now. So then tomorrow we start really working at aligning it. But now if you recognize, the more he's thinking lateral, the more when he goes straight, he'll become elastic because he's still thinking about engaging. So what he was doing yesterday when he would straighten, he would forget about releasing laterally and he would get fast.
Right.
Because he was thinking about getting straight. He wasn't thinking about staying in release. Today, and this is what you do. Okay, like the example of this is that let's say you put a horse in a horse trailer, and they brace and they pull backwards. So they're thinking straight. So if you can stop that horse and get them to think about turning, as soon as they think about turning, they will not back out anymore. Because now they're thinking about turning. So that's a way to break the thought on them backing out. Does this make sense? Okay, so when he's thinking laterally, then when he's going straight, that's why we got rhythm. Because he was still thinking about bending laterally when he was going straight. So then he was like staying under himself and extending and under himself as he was straightening up. So this is the key. When he thought about getting straight, he would rush. I would go lateral. Okay, and then when he was really thinking lateral, then I could go straight, and I could stay straight as long as he kept thinking laterally.
Okay.
And then he would extend and engage. But as soon as he didn't actually do it today, like all he did today was fatigue at the end. But in the beginning, he stayed more rhythmic in his trot. He was more up because he was thinking more laterally. The cool part about the lateral, it's not that he's thinking laterally, he's thinking about releasing the tension in the lateral stride. And this is the key. You have to recognize everything I'm doing here. Okay, this is fun. I am not one moment am I trying to make him look like he looks.
Yeah, I am.
That's the important part. I'm not trying to collect him. I'm not trying to frame. I'm doing nothing. All I'm doing is releasing and aligning. You align the shoulder with the pole joint with the hindquarters. It has an appearance. The appearance is his gift back to us. The feeling of that is his gift back to us. The release is my gift to him. If I don't prioritize the release, then he feels like I'm taking his body from him, and so then he can't protect himself. And if I'm just taking his body and he has to protect himself, then he must defend himself. He must need his body back. But if I can get the internal release, then he doesn't need his body anymore. And that's then when it can be beautiful, because he's not actually taking his body anymore. So that's why I stay so focused on the tension, talking about the tension, so that then he's like, okay, I'm good then. I'm good. But the challenge is to find the tension in any movement. And that's, so the two things. First, you can isolate different movement lines to find different tensions. You could also feel the tension when I got close to the fence. Okay, and so then, but the more I can shift and feel the hips, shift and feel the hips, shift and feel the shoulders, now I have a template of flow. That's why we're staying down here quite a bit, because you need a template of flow and release. Then I amplify the pressure on my own. Flow, pressure, and then say, Bud, when you feel pressure, remember, it's about letting go of stuff. It's not about holding. Yeah. And then we got that. Then I took that to the fence, and then I played with it in gait. He would pick his gait, I would pick the release. Pretty soon, his gait would start being filled with release, and then it would be filled on the fence with release. And that's where, like, we're right. That's a big change from yesterday. He was more charged yesterday than today. Like, he thought he needed to be. That's what all the pooping was about. Yeah. He's like, oh, this is going to be hard for me. Yeah. And it's like, sure, you can think that. But I'm still talking the same thing. Yeah.
You pooped less today.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I just noticed it more. Yeah. Okay. Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Does anybody have any questions about that?
I always have a question, but you know, this is so politically incorrect, you know, it's me, so I'll say it anyway. I feel like as women, it's so much, you know, when all that was so great, it looked so male, because it was so, in a good way, it was so cool. It's so, I think it's easier for you guys to just get into that moment, that physical moment, and let go of all of that female. Does that make any sense to you?
What I look at is I look at the yin and yang of all things. There's the balance of life is about the balance of masculine and feminine, and not necessarily like, I don't want to get too much into this piece, but his masculine is out of balance. His belief in his ability to go to war is out of balance.
Exactly.
So then I'm charging that part of him. But because it's out of balance, then he looks weak, which makes us feel like, oh, it's okay, you're okay. You don't have to feel that way. But it's not what gives him his power, it's his charge. And that's why you keep hearing me kind of like, we're like, bro, come on, bud. Like, feel it, believe it. You know, because his masculine is out of balance.
But I think that's such a good way to say it, because I think what I was seeing more directly was that male to male connection, the male to male side connecting, and him being like, oh man, this is so much fun.
Totally.
Yeah.
Well, and believe in yourself, bud.
Yeah.
He doesn't need you're okay.
Yeah.
Like some horses would need that. They need to hear you're okay. And when you do it, I always just follow the flow lines. I follow the draw of what energy is being asked of me. And so from him, it's that masculine charge.
Yeah, exactly.
But also I have to talk to the release. So because if you don't, the tension the tension in all of us can just take so much of our power and then makes the decisions about what we do with our energy. Like you say something to me and the tension comes up and I'm like, don't talk to me that way. And now I'm letting that charge decide how I speak. So what he does his charge, then he decides with his charge what he does with the fence. So unless you can take that tension away, he can't. So then what I'm doing is I'm taking the tension away. I'm like, right now, bud, this is the moment. Believe in yourself. Like, so then I'm being entrusted to give him his balance back, the power back, but only when he releases. If he doesn't release there, he can't even hear me. And then what he'll do is he'll take that masculine charge as dominance.
Exactly.
Instead of empowerment.
Exactly.
Right. So that's like that.
Thank you for making that a much more complete thought, because that's
And
exactly it,
all
yeah.
things have that balance.
Yeah.
Or it's out of balance.
Yeah.
And then there will be, when any one of those is out of balance, it will have its negative opposite.
But I think it's like the positive reinforcement. It's the same conversation. We're so afraid to look at the female and the male
Sure.
and recognize this as female, as that as male. We're so afraid to do that.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, and it's just that they just have different attributes. They're
It's
just
the yin
different.
and the
right?
yang. It's the
And
yin.
they're all beautiful, and that's the thing. Like, it's like one doesn't discredit the other. That's that's an insecure definition
Exactly.
that they have to discredit each other. Well, why can't they just both be beautiful but different?
Exactly.
And different is okay too, right?
Exactly.
Could he be showing tensions out in his herd in the field as well? Like
Sure.
the things you see here could be, okay.
Mhm.
So what the work you did with him here then could actually really
Oh,
see
yes,
that
that definitely happens.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, because you're changing the perspective he's looking at life.
Okay.
And it doesn't matter, like when a person starts to find a place where they feel empowered, that changes how they go to work. It changes everything because it just starts changing the fabric of your composition, right?
Yeah.
So that's why I spend so much time on it. But again, you see that he's a perfect example of this. It's not more circles that gets it. It's not more riding that gets it. It's the talking to the thing that's charging the thing that he's doing. See, and that's the same thing. So like that's why there's so much bickering, because we're never talking to the essence of the heart of what makes you feel that way. We're talking to what you say when you feel that way. You see, you know what I'm saying?
Oh,
It's like
100%.
now I'm all charged up and I've seen people do some really bad things, so I am gonna stand on our positive. So I'm standing here, and when they get attacked, what you're doing is you're attacking their belief that overpressuring horses is wrong.
Mm-hmm.
See how tight it gets, instead of being able to, that's what Mojo's doing.
Yeah.
He is attaching his tension to the belief that he needs to respond a certain way. So if all I do is say, don't respond that way, don't respond that way, it never changes, because you're not talking to the right thing. You must talk to the heart of what created the tension. And that is the art of communication. If you can find the root of the tension in any conversation, then the power of the opinion dissolves, because now it doesn't have a base. Right.
I can't even imagine this, of all the people here, how many horses we have had over the years that we have had this shying problem, not to his degree, and been, well, go into the corner, look at that. I mean, it's like,
Sure.
oh my God, all those poor horses that we never addressed the tension.
Yeah, that is where, and then what happens is, so now maybe they're okay with that corner, but then it's another corner,
Yeah.
and it's not because you're not changing the.
Yeah.